If you're a dentist, today we're talking about income and specifically how to get the most out of your work in an ethical way while providing amazing value for your patients. But first, let me ask you something. Are you working harder than ever, yet your income seems to be stagnating? Well, you're not alone. Actually, most associate dentists I meet are producing more and working longer, yet somehow not seeing that reflected in their take-home pay. Now today we're going to change that. By the end of this video, you will have all the tools you need to grow your income. I will also give away 3 practical worksheets so you can start implementing what we discussed today. So I'm going to show you why income optimization isn't about working harder, it's about working smarter with a system. In the last 2 decades, I've worked alongside hundreds of associate dentists. I owned multiple practices and discovered a key aspect that touches the financial performance of every dentist. The associate dentists who thrive financially are not necessarily the fastest or most technically skilled. They're the ones who understand and optimize all 3 income levers at the same time. So in the next 15 minutes, you'll learn the 3 core income levers that are a must for every associate who wants to grow their income, why focusing on just one lever severely limits your earning potential, and most importantly, I'll give you a practical framework called the MAP system to double your income without changing practices. I promise you that this isn't theory. It's tested and put into practice with real results. These are proven strategies I've used to help colleagues increase their income by 50 to 100% within their current positions. If you comment below with MAPS framework, I will send you our Associate Income Calculator, a spreadsheet tool that helps identify exactly which income levers need your immediate attention. Now let's get straight to the value. Most dentists focus on just one path to increasing their income, seeing more patients. But that's like trying to fix every problem with only a hammer. It's inefficient, exhausting, and it's not even the best tool for every job. The truth is, there are 3 core income levers that, when optimized together, create this multiplier effect on your earnings. Okay, so here's the breakdown. The first lever is production volume. This is the most obvious lever. How many patients do you see and how many procedures do you complete? It's where most associates focus all their attention. But volume alone has natural limits. You can only work so many hours and see so many patients before burnout sets in or quality suffers. I've seen associates push this lever to its breaking point, as in working through lunch, staying late, rushing appointments, but then they hit a ceiling that's nearly impossible to go through. Now, the second lever is the procedure mix. This lever is about the types of procedures you're performing. So consider this. A single implant case might generate the same income as 15 checkups. A smile makeover could equal 30 fillings. Now, many associates spend their days mainly doing lowest value procedures in dentistry. I'm talking about checkups and scale and polishes and simple fillings. Shifting your procedure mix even slightly toward higher value treatments can dramatically increase your income without seeing more patients. And the third lever is compensation structure. This is maybe the most overlooked lever, yet potentially the most powerful. How you get paid for what you do really matters. See, your compensation agreement can make a 20 to 50% difference in your income for the exact same clinical work. Improvement can be achieved at every level. And I'm talking about percentage split, lab fee arrangement, or performance bonuses. Any small improvement in your compensation structure can generate significant financial returns. What's crucial to understand is that these 3 levers multiply each other. They don't just add up, they compound. Okay, just to illustrate, let me show you what I mean. So Susan works as an associate dentist, seeing 10 patients per day with an average procedure value of £120. And on a 40% compensation rate, she earns £480 daily. By optimizing all 3 levers, increasing to 12 patients per day, raising the average procedure value to £170, and negotiating a 45% rate, Susan now earns £918 daily. That's a 91% income increase without working longer hours or changing practices. This is why focusing on all 3 levers simultaneously is so powerful. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter within a system. If you're finding this valuable, comment income levers below, and I will send you our procedure value calculator. It's an amazing tool we developed that helps identify which procedures deliver the highest return on your clinical time. Okay, now let's explore practical strategies for each lever that you can implement immediately. Let's start with production volume strategies. In a bit, I'll share with you a simple scheduling technique that's helping dentists treat more patients without feeling rushed. But first, let's explore how to optimize your clinical time. So we already said that the key to increasing volume isn't working longer hours. It's maximizing or optimizing your efficiency during the hours you already work. Let's start with your appointment book. Most associates lose 1 to 2 hours of productive time every week due to poor scheduling. Okay, so there are 4 scheduling strategies you can apply. The first strategy is buffer scheduling. Instead of booking back-to-back 30-minute appointments, work with your front of house team to create a buffer system. For example, 25-minute appointments with 5-minute buffers. This shift prevents the domino effect when one appointment runs over. It protects your schedule from collapsing by mid-morning. But it's not just logistical. Psychologically, while working within shorter appointment blocks, you automatically sharpen your focus, resulting in a reduction in mental fatigue. You become more intentional with your time, and your team works more efficiently without feeling rushed. And by the way, that 5-minute buffer really isn't lost time. It's recovery space. You can use it to breathe, reset, write your notes, or maybe just go grab a coffee, or even better, use it to be more present with your next patient. See, that extra attention, it leads to better care and better decisions. Just think of it like driving in traffic. If you leave no distance between you and the car in front, every time they brake, you slam the brakes too. It's just very stressful. With a little space, you move smoother, you react better, and arrive calmer. Buffer scheduling is that space, and it transforms the rhythm of your day. So the second strategy is batch similar procedures, or batching. Batching is about grouping similar treatments in the same session or on the same day. Your mind and hands work far more efficiently when performing related tasks consecutively. There's less switching between instruments because you're using the same type of instruments and the same setup for patients 1, 2, 3, and 4. There will be fewer changes in clinical posture, and you'll have to deal less with a mental reset between procedures. You can think of it like cooking. When you batch all your chopping, seasoning, and baking together, you move faster and make fewer mistakes. But if you stop every few minutes to switch recipes, dig through the fridge, or clean the counter, you lose flow, focus, and time. The same applies to dentistry. Batching similar procedures creates flow. It reduces cognitive load, speeds up your clinical rhythm, and it gives your brain the space to settle into precision mode. And the result? Well, it's less fatigue, better outcomes, and a smoother day for you and your team. Now, the third strategy is to delegate appropriately. Many associates spend their valuable time on tasks that can easily be done by other team members. If you want to work smarter, not just harder, create a clear list of what only you must do versus what you can delegate to others. Think of it like flying a plane. When did you see a pilot serve the drinks, stow the bags, or check every bolt on the wing? They focus on flying because that's their unique skill. The rest is handled by a team that had specific training in other aspects of managing the flight. In the same way, your clinical time should be focused on what only you are qualified to do. Your unique skills, diagnosis, treatment, and critical decisions. That's it. That's all. Anything else is a burden and will create mental clutter. So tasks you can delegate are pre-op explanations, consent forms, and even oral hygiene instructions. Delegating such tasks frees up your mental capacity, and it protects your energy for your unique skills. By the way, you're still responsible, but you don't have to do it all yourself. Let your team support you. So this approach builds trust. It improves workflow, and it increases your daily capacity without adding hours. Now, the next strategy is to track your numbers. The most important takeaway for today is this: you can't improve what you don't measure. So start tracking the following metrics: patients seen per day, procedures completed per day, average appointment duration, and the last one is downtime between patients. For example, imagine someone who spends an average of 12 minutes per patient writing notes. At first sight, this might not seem like much, but across 10 patients a day, that's 2 full hours. By switching to a structured template and using simple dictation systems, this dentist could write the notes in just 4 minutes per patient. And that just freed up over an hour of productive time every day. See, small efficiencies, when measured and optimized, add up to big results. Next, we will look at a practical approach that's helping associates significantly increase their average procedure value without requiring advanced training. The key lies in procedure selection. Improving your procedure mix doesn't necessarily mean performing complex treatments beyond your comfort zone. It means being strategic about the treatments you already offer. There are 4 key elements to procedure mix optimization. The first key element is to conduct a procedure value analysis. Take a step back and look at your clinical day through a strategic lens. List out all the procedures you currently perform and calculate their hourly production value by dividing the fee by the average time each one takes. This simple exercise reveals which procedures are giving you the highest return on your clinical time and which ones are silently draining your schedule with low output and high stress. Think of it like managing a restaurant menu. If you're spending hours preparing a dish that barely covers the cost of ingredients, it doesn't matter how good it tastes. It's just not sustainable. You need to have a list of dishes that bring in profit and a separate list with the ones that are just taking up space in the kitchen. Your clinical time is no different. Not every procedure is equal in value. And when you know where the return is highest, you can start to refine your focus. Shift your treatment mix and build a day that's more profitable and more enjoyable. Now, the second element is to identify your sweet spot procedures, or SSPs. Now, SSPs are the treatments where 3 things come together. You're clinically confident, you're efficient, and the procedure has a high value per hour. That's your sweet spot, where skill, speed, and income align. For many associates, this might include composite bonding, or anterior root canals, or straightforward implant restorations, but it varies for everyone. The key is to identify what you do well, enjoy, and can deliver both consistently and profitably. Well, think of it like playing a sport. You might be decent in every position, but there's one where you really excel, where the flow of your movements is naturally better and your impact is greater. Well, that's your natural position. In clinical dentistry, your SSPs are just like that. Do the type of dentistry that gives minimal friction. That's your zone of excellence. It's easy, right? So when you lean into those, you're not only more productive, you're also more confident. You have more energy. And ultimately, if you combine confidence and energy, the result is better outcomes. Now, the third key element is to create treatment pathways. See, those high-value procedures, you really don't want to leave them up to chance. So you need to develop clear, intentional treatment pathways that guide patients from routine examinations to your SSPs, your sweet spot procedures. For example, a 45-year-old male presents with attrition on nearly all his teeth. And through a structured diagnostic flow, you introduce them to the benefits of composite edge bonding or maybe a full mouth rehab with porcelain onlays. In an ideal scenario, you want a treatment pathway that facilitates recognizing the need for treatment early on. Then you need to educate the patients to allow them to reach an informed decision whether or not they wish to have something done about the problem you've identified. And finally, you can then move confidently to treatment acceptance and delivery. Think of it like planning a journey. If you want someone to reach a destination, you don't just hand them a map and wish them luck. You give them a step-by-step plan with directions. The plan contains indications of places where they can take a break along the way, and it contains which route they need to take based on their preferences. Maybe they want to take the shortest or the quickest route, or maybe they want the one that saves most fuel. Treatment pathways do exactly that. They reduce friction, remove uncertainty, and lead patients from awareness to action, step by step. And here's the bonus. When these pathways are built around your sweet spot procedures, your day becomes focused, your clinical outcomes improve, and your patients benefit from options they never knew even existed. All right, let's go to the fourth key element, which is to enhance case presentation skills. See, the most valuable procedures are often elective, which means patients need to choose them, not to be told they need them. So you need to improve your ability to communicate benefits, not just clinical features. One dentist I supported had developed real confidence in offering Invisalign for functional crowding and bite correction, but uptake wasn't great. So previously he focused on alignment, aesthetics, and straightening your smile. But when he shifted the conversation toward function, talking about ease of cleaning, reducing future wear, improving occlusal stability, minimizing gum issues, and how this fits in the overall plan in developing a strategy to preserve teeth longer, his case acceptance doubled. Why? Well, because patients started to see the health value, not just the appearance. Same clinical workflow, no discounts, just better communication and far more interest from patients. So next we'll discuss compensation structure negotiation. Now do stay with me as I'm about to share a negotiation approach that could quite literally transform your income without changing anything about your clinical work. It all begins with understanding your value. See, most associates never negotiate their compensation structure, accepting whatever is offered. And this is a costly mistake. So here's how to approach this effectively. First, know your numbers. Before any negotiation, gather data on your total production, your production growth trend, patient feedback and retention rates, and finally, any additional value you bring, as in languages spoken or other special skills. Secondly, understand practice economics. You need to learn how the practice makes money and where you fit in that equation. This allows you to position your request as mutually beneficial. Thirdly, structure your request strategically. Instead of asking for a flat percentage increase, consider tiered percentages based on production thresholds, different rates for different procedure types, performance bonuses for exceeding targets, lab fee adjustments. And finally, you need to time your approach. The best time to negotiate is after demonstrating consistent value, before you're indispensable to the practice. One associate increased his take-home pay by 22% simply by negotiating a 5% higher rate on procedures over £350 and a more favorable lab fee arrangement, with no changes to his clinical work. Remember, these three levers work together. Small improvements in each create a compound effect on your overall income. Now that we understand the three income levers and strategies for each, let's bring everything together in a systematic approach I call the MAPS framework. So M stands for measurement. You can't improve what you don't measure. Most associates have no idea what their key performance indicators actually are. Start by tracking these essential metrics. Track your daily production value. Track your procedures by category and value. Track your chair utilization rate. Track treatment acceptance rate. And finally, also track average procedure value. Create a simple spreadsheet or use our associate income calculator to track these weekly. One associate I worked with discovered through measurement that while he was producing £1,200 daily, his chair was sitting empty for nearly 2 hours each day due to cancellations and scheduling gaps. A potential £400 to £500 in lost production. That's more than 100K in gross revenue annually. Measurement reveals the hidden opportunities in your current position. Next, we'll look at a practical approach that's helping associates identify their most profitable path forward. The key lies in proper analysis. The A stands for analysis. Once you have data, you need to analyze it properly to identify your biggest opportunities. You need to look for your highest value procedures per hour, patterns in treatment acceptance, scheduling inefficiency, and compensation rate compared to market standards. The goal is to identify which income lever will give you the greatest return on your effort. And for some associates, it's clearly volume. They have capacity but are not fully booked. Others, it's procedure mix. They're busy but with low value treatments. And for many, it's compensation structure. They're productive but underpaid for their contribution. Your analysis will reveal your priority focus area. Okay, so the P stands for progression. Once you've identified your opportunities, you need a systematic plan to progress in those areas. This includes skill development for higher value procedures, systems improvement for greater efficiency, team training to support your goals, and finally, patient communication enhancement. Create a 90-day progression plan with specific targets. If procedure mix is your focus, perhaps it's mastering composite anterior bonding or learning a new clear aligner system. If volume is your challenge, it might be implementing new scheduling protocols or improving your structure during routine checkups or direct restorations. The key is focused strategic progression instead of random improvement efforts. Okay, on to the last pillar of the MAPS framework. The S stands for structure. Your compensation structure is the foundation of your income potential. Most associates accept standard arrangements without realizing the significant variation that exists across practices. Consider these structural elements: base percentage rate, tiered percentage based on production, lab fee arrangements, performance bonuses, benefits and pension contributions. Review your current agreement and identify opportunities for improvement. Prepare a business case for any proposed changes, focusing on the value you bring to the practice. Remember, practice owners want to retain good associates. A fair compensation structure benefits everyone. If you found the MAPS framework helpful, comment income optimization below, and I will send you our Associate Negotiation Guide, a comprehensive resource with scripts, timing strategies, and templates for successfully negotiating improved compensation. Okay, now that we understand the MAPS framework, let's address the reality of implementation and mainly the common implementation challenges. While implementing the MAPS framework, you may encounter common challenges along the way. First, you might face some resistance from practice owners. Now, here's the thing. When you approach these conversations, think of them as collaborative discussions about mutual benefit. You're not making demands. You're exploring how both of you can win. Practice owners want to retain good associates, and you want fair compensation. There's always a middle ground. Then there's the challenge of data collection. I know tracking numbers can feel overwhelming, especially when you're busy with patients. But here's my advice. Start simple. Even if you're just writing down your daily production on a piece of paper, that's infinitely better than no tracking at all. You can always get more sophisticated later. Another hurdle you might hit is what I call skill development plateaus. You might feel like you need to learn completely new procedures to increase your income. But actually, the biggest gains often come from getting just 10% better at procedures you already perform. Focus on incremental improvements in your existing skill set. That's where the real opportunity lies. And finally, time constraints, the universal challenge. You're thinking, when am I supposed to do all this? Well, here's the truth. You only need 30 minutes a week to start. That's it. Just half an hour dedicated to reviewing your numbers and planning your next steps. Most associates spend more time than that scrolling through social media during lunch. And remember that income optimization is a process. It's not an event. Consistent application of these principles over time yields most significant results. So we've covered a lot of ground today. Let me summarize. First, we talked about 3 core income levers: production volume, procedure mix, and compensation structure. You can think of them as 3 dials you can turn. Most associates only know about one dial, but now you know all 3 exist, and more importantly, how to adjust them. Then we explored the MAPS framework, which gives you a systematic way to approach this. Measurement is about tracking the right numbers, because you really can't improve what you don't measure. Analysis helps you spot where the real opportunities are hiding. Progression is about developing your skills and systems strategically, and structure ensures your compensation actually reflects the value you bring to the practice. Now, what's really powerful here is that these 3 levers work together. When you make even small improvements in each area, they don't just add up, they multiply. That's how dentists see such dramatic income increases without working themselves into the ground. Now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, but where do I actually start? So here's a simple 30-day plan to get you moving. In your first week, just focus on measurement. Start tracking your daily production. Nothing fancy, just write it down. Calculate what your average procedure value is and take an honest look at how much of your chair time is actually being used productively. Week 2 is when you go into analysis of the data you gathered in week 1. Look at those numbers and identify which procedures are giving you the best return on your time. Where are the efficiency gaps? Then go find your compensation agreement and really study it. By week 3, you're ready for progression. Pick one skill you want to get better at. Just one. Maybe implement one scheduling improvement. Or work on one aspect of how you communicate with patients. Small but intentional steps. And in week 4, it's time to think about structure. Prepare your case for a compensation discussion. Get your numbers together. Schedule that meeting with your practice owner and set some specific targets for the next quarter. So here's the thing, I make these videos for you. So tell me in the comments what you actually need help with, and I will cover it in my next videos. And don't forget, if you comment with MAPS framework, I will send you our associate income calculator. Comment income levers for our procedure value calculator or income optimization for our associate negotiation guide. These 3 resources will help you implement everything we've discussed today. Remember, this isn't about grinding harder. It's about working smarter within a proven system. So be consistent, be strategic, and be exceptional.